Hello and welcome to the weekly wrap-up. I have the great honor of being here with Collins. He's a little famous at this point already. Collins from NH Jones. And Collins, you did something really special lately, and where you were even at the Kennedy Space Center, I heard, speaking. But can you tell all of us about what you did and why we're all so excited for you?
So the title of my experiment is Does Microgravity Affect the Protein Productions of Escherichia coli? And basically what that means is E. coli is a bacteria that produces proteins, and these proteins can be made into biopharmaceuticals. And I was wondering if these biopharmaceuticals could be made more efficiently in space.
That's all?
Yes.
Well, that's very impressive.
Thank you.
Tell us about how you came to deciding how to investigate that. And I know that your teacher is here, and we're going to talk to her in just a minute as well. But what was your inspiration for that, and perhaps even including what did you learn at school that inspired you to study this?
Well, last year I also did an experiment relating to E. coli, so I thought that it kind of got a bad rap, and that when I found out that it produced proteins, I wondered if these proteins could be produced more efficiently in microgravity, hence the name. And last year's experiment really inspired this one, just kind of in a different way.
Super. So, talked a little bit about your topic, right? And so what happened with that topic? Tell us about why you were at the Kennedy Space Center.
We were at the Kennedy Space Center mostly to watch the launch, but we also presented our projects in front of the director of SSEP, Dr. Jeff Goldstein.
Okay. So your project went where?
To the International Space Station.
Oh, pretty cool. I think that happens all the time, doesn't it? No, of course it doesn't. So, when did you learn that that was going to go up to space?
Well, once we did the experiments and submitted the proposals, then we had to wait back for SSEP, which stands for Student Spaceflight Experiments Program, to pick the winners that would go up to the International Space Station. And then we figured out that my project had won and that it would be going.
Well, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I am certain it was a very competitive process. Do you have any idea how many submissions they had?
There were quite a few. I don't know specifically how many, but I know there were quite a few, yes.
Okay, very impressive.
Thank you.
What an outstanding representative you've been of our amazing students in Marion County Public Schools. And so we're going to invite Ms. Dorsey to join and talk about how she has supported student learning. Is there anything else you want to share with everyone?
No ma'am, but thank you.
Has it been a great experience?
It has.
Wonderful. We're very proud of you. Very proud of you. Ms. Dorsey, thank you for joining. We're getting ready to recognize Collins tonight and appreciate all the great work that you're supporting of our students and their learning. So you want to share a little bit about this process and getting a student project to space?
Yes, so we've been involved in the Student Spaceflight Experiment Program for the last 2 years. We actually sent an experiment last year also to the International Space Station. It's already back. And then Collins was involved in that project last year as well. And she actually got the runner-up to space last year. And so she was working with a team of 4 girls last year, and I gave them the option or opportunity to come back this year and try again. And Collins is the only one that was able to do that. And so she came back and she was just bound and determined to win, get it done. She was amazing. She actually ended up having to flip her whole experiment.
Wow.
She couldn't, it wasn't gonna work. And we found that out the long, hard way of trying test after test after test. So she went through the whole scientific process. And you know, we do the science fair projects, which are a great introduction to science. But this program is like you live and breathe real world science and STEM. And we found out like nothing ever goes right like the first 100 times. It never goes right. And you finally, eventually you click on something and you're like, oh my goodness, it worked. And so we did all the research up front. We had to learn about microgravity. We researched things that could be tested in microgravity, and we're working with this little teeny tube that your experiment has to go in, and it's like this big, and that's when you send it up, your qualifications match NASA. Everything in your tube is a NASA certified. You've done everything to their specifications. So it's really hard. You have to start your experiment in microgravity and stop it. So you have to come up with ways to be able to do that. It can't happen, and nothing can happen between here and there, because then you have messed up your variable.
Right.
So Collins did it. She won. She researched. She won, and then we had to join in with North Marion High School with Dee Reedy in her lab, because elementary school doesn't have a lab equipped to do the type of science that we needed to do. So we partnered with her, and she is amazing, and her students, and we would be up in the lab a lot, getting the experience to work, and then loading the experiment to go to space. And then we went to Kennedy Space Center on Thursday, and we watched the launch, which was incredible. And now we wait. While they are doing the experiment in space, we have the ground truth experiments, so we will be following along and doing exactly what they do up there, which is what Collins told them to do. And we'll be doing it on Earth at the same time. And then it will come back to Earth, and we will go up to a place in Gainesville called Biotility, where they have specialized equipment that can read the protein results. And then she'll write her report, and we'll see if she was right.
There you go.
It was amazing.
Pretty remarkable. And you've mentioned several things. You've mentioned not only the rigorous learning, the academic learning in STEM deeply, right? Hands-on.
Absolutely.
Testing out those theories. But you also mentioned collaboration between schools, supporting, working together for the benefit of students. But you also mentioned some other skills like tenacity.
Yes.
And perseverance.
Yes.
So those are life skills that we try to instill in our students.
Absolutely.
Right? And you mentioned like the first 100, right? But it's really about failing over and over again.
Yes.
To find success.
Yes.
And she's already learning that in elementary school at NH Jones.
Absolutely.
So thank you for what you're
welcome.
doing to inspire student learning and to support students in finding their success and their tenacity. So
thank you.
Really, really proud.
It's a great project, and I got to work with a great team with Collins and Miss Reedy.
And more great things to come.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We have a fantastic lab at North Marion High School with a lot of equipment, and when we have the opportunity to bring in young students to mentor them on the way our lab works and what happens with our lab, that's really exciting. And so Collins came in over and over and seriously studied and learned and worked to be able to do her project. And she was able to use the equipment, and then because I'm a high school and I have connections with colleges, I was able to refer them to various colleges or institutions that could test their results so they could find out. So they were able to get what they needed to through just collaboration. So it's really elementary to middle school to high school and then to college that our collaboration extends. So that was exciting.